That's not porn music. Occasionally my Wi-Fi just doesn't necessarily work as smoothly as I'd like it to, so I went with a wired connection. Hopefully that'll fix the problem, and you can let me know if you're still having those issues. So anyway, so it is my 150th show, and I'm just thanks to all of you who come in and watch that that's the reason I do it. But I also just, because I like to talk sometimes. And so today we're just going to kind of go through a few articles like I do every day. I'm not doing anything special for the occasion. Maybe on my 200th show, I'll go back to having guests on Friday. I still, when we got rid of Hangouts, and I know it's not completely gone, but I was trying to figure out how I'm going to bring guests on. I know there's certainly... Oh, really? You know what? Try refreshing. Let's see. It says, "Did you just disconnect from the Wi-Fi?" No, I'm on a wired connection now. It should be, and it says I have an excellent connection. I wonder. Try refreshing. I'm gonna refresh mine. Mine's okay. I see how it's skipping there too. That's weird. Sometimes it takes time for the wired connection to integrate. Now it's really stopping. What the hell's going on here today? Okay, well, I refreshed. It seems like it's still stopping, skipping. Huh. Oh, I'm dropping frames. Huh. Well, let me see if I can reconnect. I just thought Dog was talking like monkey. That's yeah, that can happen. Let's try something else then. I'm going to end the stream and restart it. Just give me a second. All right, now we're going to try that. Maybe it's working. Who knows? I don't know. We'll just go with it. We're just gonna go with it, guys. Anyway, so let's say good morning to everybody else who just dropped in. I already said hi to Duck Dog. I'm gonna give Duck Dog a bell again because most of you weren't here when I gave him the bell, and I want to make sure everyone knows that Duck Dog got the bell for being first. And good morning, Zombie Teddy, Longfish, Rolling Bear, Maddie. I said hi to who else? There's Johnny Hellcat. I see you're here. Good morning. And there's a few others on the thing, so it's not skipping as much anymore. Not skipping so far. Okay, well, maybe that's all it took. I did drop some frames earlier in the show, and maybe I've fixed it now. All right, so let's get into the news. Now, I didn't prepare as much today because I was a little late getting home from work, and so, but I do have a couple things that I found very interesting. First was the scandal of the century. The scandal of the century. The new century, not the 20th century? The 21st century. The scandal of the century has been decoded. What scandal might that be? Well, that would be... It's embarrassing for our country. It's embarrassing. And I don't know how to bring this up. I don't know how to get through this because it's so embarrassing. But Sharpiegate. Sharpiegate. I think we found out who did it. The Washington Post has discovered. We found out who illegally Sharpied Trump's hurricane map. The Sharpiegate scandal added another curve on Thursday, amid warnings that whoever altered the map President Trump displayed in an Oval Office briefing on Hurricane Dorian may have violated a 1948 law forbidding issuing counterfeit weather forecasts or warnings of weather conditions. The Washington Post reported, breathlessly, I might add, that was me, that an unnamed White House official told the paper that it was Trump himself who took a Sharpie to the map to include Alabama in the potential impact area. Anyone hear about this scandal this weekend or the last couple of days? Oh my gosh, Trump broke the law. I think time to impeach. Impeach Nancy Pelosi. Where are you at? It was Trump who used the black Sharpie to mark up an official National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration map, which he displayed during an Oval Office briefing on Wednesday, according to a White House official who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Yes, we need to protect that source, Washington Post. To discuss internal deliberations, the Post reported Thursday. No one else writes like that on a map with a black Sharpie, the official said. Several White House officials argued that media coverage of the Alabama issue has been unfair to Trump, but one senior administration official said that as long as it gets in the news, he's not going to drop it, the Post reports. The Post reports follows a warning from its own Aaron Blake on Wednesday that a 1948 federal law could mean big trouble for whoever marked up Trump's map. Quote, whoever knowingly issues or publishes any counterfeit weather forecast or warning of weather conditions falsely representing such a forecast or warning to have been issued or published by the Weather Bureau, United States Signal Service, or other branch of government service shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 90 days or both. 18 U.S. Code 2007-4 reads. The Post has since published another report explaining why President Trump's Sharpied weather map was likely a crime and should be. At a briefing Wednesday, Trump showed the Sharpied map and was pressed on it by a reporter. When you showed us the map earlier, the original forecast of it, it appeared to have been, I guess, edited or something to include Alabama, the reporter asked. Can you explain how that change was made? No, I just know that Alabama was in the original forecast, he said. They thought it would get it. They thought it would get it as a piece of it. Actually, we have a better map, which is going to be presented where we had many lines going directly, many models, each line being a model, and they were going directly through. And in all cases, Alabama was hit, if not lightly, in some cases pretty hard. Georgia, Alabama, it was a different route. They actually gave that a 95% chance probability. It turned out that that was not what happened. It made the right turn up the coast, but Alabama was hit very hard. It was going to be hit very hard. Asked again about how the change was made, Trump said, I don't know. On Wednesday, Trump also tweeted out a so-called spaghetti map showing that Alabama was initially projected as potentially being impacted by the storm. This was the original projected path of the hurricane in its early stages, he tweeted. As you can see, almost all the models predicted it would go through Florida, also hitting Georgia and Alabama. I accept the fake news apologies. Then there's a tweet where this is the original map, blah, blah, blah. Soon after he posted the tweet, the Associated Press quoted hurricane researcher Brian McNulty, who blasted the map. He has no clue what he's talking about or what is plotted on that map, said McNulty. At the time of that cycle, Alabama was even lower risk than before, and it was barely anything to start with. But Trump has since followed up that tweet up with another early model, likewise showing Alabama's potentially being impacted by Hurricane Dorian. Just as I said, Alabama was originally projected to be hit. The fake news denies it, he tweeted. I can't believe I'm giving this much time to this, and so am I. And so I'm adult too. Just for even anything Trump does is a major thing. And then also anyone who calls him on something, he always has to respond. So you know what? Y'all are just feeding him this. Now let me just tell you. Yes, originally the hurricane was projected. They weren't really sure, but they projected that it could go into Alabama. And in fact, the Alabama National Guard also gave out warnings saying, you know what, we're ready and prepared. Should it hit, looks like we're going to get hit. So it's not like it was just Trump, but I just think it's funny that it is definitely clown world. Street Sith Mail, you are correct. As the Daily detailed Thursday, Sharpie Gate officially started over the weekend when Trump posted an update on the status of Hurricane Dorian. In addition to Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama will most likely be hit much harder than anticipated, looking like one of the largest hurricanes ever, already a Category 5. He tweeted, "Be careful, God bless everyone." The inclusion of Alabama, which was in fact included in some early projections, but by the time Trump posted the tweet, was considered safely out of the storm's potential path, prompted the National Weather Service Birmingham to tweet out a correction. Alabama will not see any impacts from Dorian. We repeat, no impacts from Dorian will be felt across Alabama. The system will remain too far east. So, yes, it originally was. Then they canceled it, whatever. Trump also named Alabama as a state that could feel some effects of the storm in a briefing Sunday, suggesting that recent models included it, which wasn't the case because he had the old... Oh, God, he never got the new models, okay? So, amid the backlash from the media, Trump would go on to tweet defenses of his inclusion of Alabama several times over the next day. Yes, we are absolutely in clown world. But anyway, the other problem about that, using that particular law, so I suppose, I don't know, when the Sharpie map, the Sharpie gate, we're in Sharpie gate, it's illegal to, I guess, what's the code here? It says here, let's read the code again. The code says, whoever knowingly issues or publishes any counterfeit weather forecast or warning of weather conditions falsely representing such forecasts or warnings to have been issued or published by the Weather Bureau of the United States or Signal Service or blah, 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 shall be fined. Okay, hold up. So he wasn't showing a prediction. All he was showing was a prior map. And yes, it's altered, but guess what? He wasn't issuing a weather forecast, right? Because the weather already changed, already turned, and it already gone. So he wasn't issuing a weather forecast. He was showing a map of an earlier weather forecast. So even if they tried, it's just so silly. It's so effing silly. These people, I don't get it. All right, so hey, let's continue here. Before I do, I want to say hi to Tyler F and MC Hammer Time and Maniac Man. Good to have you here, and Straight Sith Mail. Nice to have you in the show. It is our 150th broadcast hour. It's just me, myself, and I, and my producer over there, my imaginary producer, because I do all the production myself. Obviously. It's so terrible. But hey, that's okay. If for those of you who are here, remember, right down there, that's the share button. And also, thanks to whoever tweeted this out. I got some notifications here. Thank you, Dar and Rolly Bear. I appreciate you retweeting the stream. If you could, as you are all my favorite people on the planet, right down there is that share button. Hit that share. You can tweet it out, or you can send it to somewhere else on social media. You can retweet me on Twitter, whatever you want to do. And while you're here, before you go, and if you like it, hit the like. Let me know you like it, okay? Because if you don't tell me, I'll never know, and then YouTube will never know, and the interaction ratios or whatever. Someday this channel's going to blow up, and you are the ones who helped me do it because you were here first. So I do appreciate you so much. Also, super chats. I don't have super chats via YouTube. You already know that. My super chats are done through Streamlabs, which is in the link down in the description, right down there somewhere down there. Okay. Thanks for being here. All right, let's move on. I got another story here. This is one that I actually. Well, here, let's go back to Dorian, because I want to make sure that we do talk about the hurricane, just because that's the biggest thing in the news right now. Dorian's eye wall nears North Carolina's Cape Fear. 250,000 people are without power. This is from the United Press International. Dorian's eye wall approached North Carolina's Cape Fear on Thursday evening as the storm left nearly 250,000 people in the Carolinas without power. The eye wall, the portion of the storm which contains the strongest winds, was 30 miles south of Cape Fear as of 8 p.m., bringing hurricane conditions along portions of the North Carolina coast, while the South Carolina coast continued to face tropical storm conditions, according to the National Hurricane Center. Earlier, there were reports of a tornado on Emerald Isle, North Carolina, toppled mobile homes and recreational vehicles. Another tornado was captured on video in Pender County. More than 800,000 people are under evacuation orders in South Carolina, and more evacuations were issued for the coast and barrier islands of North Carolina. So it's still there. I think by now they might be out of it. We'll get it when we get into Twitter trends, because there's a couple things on Twitter about it also. But a lot of schools and businesses, whatnot, shut down, and they should have, and hopefully everyone's safe. If any of you happen to be in that area, I hope you are keeping yourself safe. All right, so moving on. Before I move on, I'll say good morning to Gorilla and Pirate Pete. How you doing, Pete? Good to see you. All right, next one here. Oh, now this is what I had for the other day and I didn't get to, but I just had to share this one because it's fascinating. A lot of the people on to the left or left of center, I don't want to say the left, because not everybody on the left is like this, and I don't want to generalize 100%, and I don't want to say all Democrats, but more Democrats than, people who want to keep power, in particular, people who want power, like to try and shut down the speech of the people who are not like them, okay? And so, fascinating. Julian Castro, this article from PJ Media, wants structural change to keep conservative ideas out of schools. That requires a drink of the old reparations coffee here, which I do have. And it is delicious. Okay, during the CNN Climate Town Hall, oh my God, did anyone even bother slogging through that complete crap show? 7 hours, 10 candidates, 20 minutes each. Holy God, that would have had to have been boring. Although there were some fascinating tidbits that came out of that, and this is one of them. During the CNN Climate Town Hall on Wednesday, 2020 presidential candidate and former HUD Secretary Julian Castro called for structural change to make sure that schools didn't get hijacked into teaching anything besides the liberal agenda, especially on climate issues. When asked, should climate change be taught in schools, Castro replied, why, yes, I believe it should. Okay, that's fine. That's a science thing. I suppose that can be taught in schools. However, the 2020 Democrat went much further, however. This doesn't just apply to curriculum about the environment. He said, we need to do things like end this system of people that get elected. And then they sit on a statewide board that determines what is curriculum. Imagine that, local leaders helping decide what the curriculum of your schools are, who would want that? What's the problem with having elected leaders determine the curriculum? Those pesky Republicans can prevent schools from using propaganda to pop out good little Democrats. And two, oftentimes, right-wing conservatives have taken over these boards in places like Texas. Texas, of all places, conservatives taking over the school boards? Sacrilege. And they affect who gets into the history books. It's a slanted view on social studies. It's probably against including any kind of meaningful curriculum on the environment. So there are some structural changes that I believe we need to make, Castro said. Oh, good old. We need to make sure that we indoctrinate so that we can stay in power forever. Schools do need to prioritize education over political bias, but the powerful bias comes from the left, not the right. Many college students cannot name another country that had slavery, which is unbelievable that they can't do that, because the evils of American slavery are so emphasized. It should be, but the fact that they don't know that, like, Brazil had huge slave problems, all the islands, island countries, Jamaica and Haiti and all those places, slavery was everywhere in the Western Hemisphere, and we were one of the early adopters of getting rid of it. So anyway, kids don't know that, When I say, I'm not a sloganeer kind of person, but that "Make America Great Again" slogan, and people say, well, America was never great. Really? You don't think America was great when we abolished slavery? You don't think that was great? That was not great, okay? You don't think that the civil rights movement in the 60s was great? It was never great. You don't think that people taking to the streets and changing something was great? It was never great. America was never great when we were being a big, huge, major part of saving Europe from the Nazis. You don't think America was great then? You're a bunch of assholes. Anyway, yet the liberal bias in education is already shaping a young generation. Young Americans are rejecting capitalism. Oh yeah, the fact that the whole thing about all these young people thinking socialism is going to be would be this great thing. Oh, you know what? And I got to tell you, in theory, socialism is just great. In theory, it leaves out a certain element of human nature, though, and that's why when all it is well, it almost always turns out to end up being tyranny, because you can't have socialism without the government having more power. So, I'm just saying. Anyway, partially because they're not learning the true story of capitalism's prosperity. Yeah, capitalism, is it perfect? But is it a perfect system? No. Is it probably the best system? Absolutely. Capitalism feeds the world. As for climate change, alarmists like Castro cite the entirely false claim that 97% of scientists agree that humans are the main cause, based on a deceptive study. Now, that's an interesting study. They linked it here. Climate alarmist predictions fail again and again, most embarrassingly in the Maldives, which stubbornly refused to sink beneath the waves on schedule, which I think that was... I'll open that one too. Human impact on the global climate is far from settled science. The kids should not be inundated with alarmist propaganda. And that's an argument to have, but you're not allowed to have that argument. Anyway, Castro's response should terrify conservatives. The current liberal bias in schools is not enough for presidential candidates like Julian Castro. He will not rest until the conservative ideas are expelled from the classrooms. Yeah, it's insane. That's just it. They want. Is this about climate? No, it's about. No, it's not. It's about Julian Castro wanting to having structural change in our schools and what is taught. So I'm sorry. I don't want to teach people what kids want to think. I want to teach them how to think. All right. So anyway. Now this is, and here's the thing. He linked this thing about the fake 97% idea. And anyway, libertarian group demands NASA remove false 97% consensus global warming claim. On Tuesday, the Competitive Enterprise Institute sent NASA a formal complaint asking the agency to withdraw the false claim that 97% of climate scientists agree that humans are the primary cause of global warming and climate change. The 2013 study purporting to demonstrate that the number was fatally flawed and proved no such thing. Yeah, that whole 97% thing, based on a Turnitin survey, and it gets used. Here's the thing. It's one of those lying with statistics. Now, yes, do scientists have a general consensus that humans are a element in the cause of the changing climate? Yes. Do every single scientist agree that we need to have the Green New Deal tomorrow? They have no way of understanding that. But if you ask any politician, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, absolutely, she says, well, the science is settled that we need to do this now. Well, no, in fact, that little 13-year thing that she brings up all the time, oh, well, if we don't get this done in 13 years, then it's never going to turn back. Well, that's based on one study, and I guarantee you that 90% of climate scientists haven't even been asked if that is, the proper, if that's going to do anything Because right now, we're the one country that actually has decreased our CO2 output. But there's other countries like China and India who have increased theirs by more than we've reduced ours. So it seems like, a lot of the ideas, goals, solutions they come up with, well, they're geared towards punishing our own country when we're actually a country that is making progress. And as these, I don't know if I would call them emerging markets, but these, quickly developing countries, and especially in the, Asia, Southeast Asia, are blowing us away in the amount of carbon they put into the air. So even if we did it, if we unilaterally, one country, well, anyway, I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, according to the CEI complaint, NASA's decision to repeat the false claim violated the Information Quality Act. Specifically, NASA claimed that 97% of climate scientists agree that climate warming trends over the past century are extremely likely due to human activity. The claim appears on NASA's website on the page, Climate Change, How Do We Know? The claim traces back to a study led by John Cook entitled, this is that study they were talking about, Quantifying the Consensus on Anthropogenic Global Warming in the Scientific Literature, and published in the Journal of Environmental Research Letters in 2013. The study is fundamentally dishonest, as the CEI complaints explains. The study analyzed all published peer-reviewed academic research papers from 1991 to 2011 that use the terms global warming or global climate change. The study placed the papers into 7 categories: explicit endorsements with quantification, saying humans are responsible for a 50+% of climate change; explicit endorsement without quantification; implicit endorsement, no position, or uncertain; implicit rejection with qualification; explicit rejection without qualification. The study found that 64 papers had implicitly endorsed anthropogenic global warming with quantification, attributing to at least half of climate change to humans. 922 papers had explicitly endorsed AGW without quantifying how much humans contribute. 2,910 papers had implicitly endorsed AGW. 7,930 papers did not state a position. 40 papers were uncertain. 54 papers implicitly rejected AGW by affirming the possibility that natural causes explain climate change. 15 papers explicitly rejected AGW without qualification. 9 papers explicitly rejected AGW with quantification, saying human contributions to global warming are negligible. So how did Cook come up and his team come up with the 97% number? Here we go. They added up the first 3 categories, 3,896 papers, compared them to the last 3 categories, 78 papers, and the papers expressing uncertainty, 40 papers, and completely ignored the nearly 8,000 papers that did not state a position. So of the papers Cook's team categorized as stating positions, 97%, 3,896 of the 4,014 papers favored the idea of man-made global warming. See the problem? The study completely discounted the majority of the papers it analyzed, which was 66.4%, or 7,930 of the 11,944 papers analyzed. With those papers included, only 32% of the papers explicitly or implicitly endorsed AGW. See how that works? So they just took out the ones that didn't state a position. And so now you've got come up with 97%. The survey included 10 of, but it gets worse. Many of the scientists who wrote the original papers Cook's team analyzed complained that his study mischaracterized their research. The survey included 10 of my 122 eligible papers. 5 out of 10 were rated incorrectly. 4 out of 5 were rated to endorse rather than neutral, complained Dr. Richard Toll, a professor of economics of climate change at Vrije Universiteit, whatever that is and wherever that country is. Oh, Good question, check your logic. The outro music is playing, or is the outro playing? That's just the outro music. Okay. Yeah, no, that's just that's the full song. It's in my list of songs that on my funk line there. So that's why it's playing. So he said that's not an accurate representation. Oh, okay. Let's see. That's not an accurate. Where are we at? Okay. Oh, he said he argued that of the 112 omitted papers, only one strongly endorses man-made global warming. That's not an accurate representative of my paper, wrote geography PhD Craig Idso. Nope, it's not an accurate representation. Nir Shaviv, associate professor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem wrote. So anyway, that's the point. So out of these 11,000 papers, he completely just discounted the 8,000 that took no position, and therefore now he comes up with this 97% number, when really it's about 36% of the papers that he analyzed had a strong, or even agreed with it. So that's just called what would you call that? Agenda math. There you go. He used some agenda math. Now what was the other one? What's the other one here? Oh yeah, and then predictions on global warming. There's a lot of predictions that haven't come true, and here's one of them. Egg on their face. The Maldives are still above water 30 years after environmentalist prediction. On September 26, 2018, all 1,196 of the Maldives Islands will be underwater. Or so our environmentalists better told us in 1988. Next week, the Maldives will go poof, just like Atlantis. Here's the thing, the islands are actually getting bigger, and the climate alarmists have eggs on their face. I never read this before, but I suppose we'll read it now, right? Daniel Turner, president of the pro-energy group Power the Future, had some fun with this prediction. This is not a joke. Stop laughing. We have 7 days to rescue all the people and living creatures. Call Noah and have him build another ark. Bring out the Coast Guard. Send all the boogie boards and floaties you can find for the Maldives. The Maldives are going down in 7, 6, 5, 4. All right. So anyway, yeah, the Maldives haven't gone underwater yet. I would like to go there. That'd be a really, really cool place to go. Let's see. Turner doesn't really believe the Maldives will sink below the waves next week. Anything is possible. This article is from September 21st, 2018. And it said and this is the prediction was September. They were this specific with the prediction. September 26th. 2018, all 1,196 islands will be underwater. So this article from September 21st is laughing that they're not underwater. And now I'm curious. Now I'm curious how the Maldives look right now. England is still here. The Maldives are still there. As for the dire prediction, it was first published on September 26, 1988, a brief report sent by Agence France Presse and published in Australia's The Canberra Times, made a specific prediction. The prediction was, quote, a gradual rise in annual sea level is threatening to completely cover this Indian Ocean nation of 1,196 small islands within the next 30 years, according to the authorities, the report warned. The Environmental Affairs Director, Mr. Hussein Shihab, said an estimated rise of 20 to 30 centimeters in the next 20 to 40 years could be catastrophic for most of the islands, which were no more than a mere above sea level. The prediction got even worse, however. But the end of the Maldives and its 200,000 people could come sooner if drinking water supplies dry up by 1992, as predicted, the report states. I remember I was talking a few weeks ago how these predictions, these doomsday predictions, the more you predict something that's doomsday and say science supports it, what is that? What's the effect of that? Oh, wait. We can get more money. We can raise more money. We can get money for research. And so there's an incentive to have doomsday predictions. Because now they can study it and they can use more money to battle it. You can raise more taxes. You can confiscate shit from people. In fact, National Geographic's Kennedy Warren reported in 2015 that the islands are growing. How could that be? Not shrinking, Warren spoke. Now, I wonder if that's still the case. I mean, I know we've had more glaciers melt, or more glacier melt since then. Was that water from the glaciers going into the ocean? Where's that water going? Especially the above ground glaciers. That water's got to go somewhere. Now, again, this is an article from 2018, but I don't know. The islands were growing, not shrinking. Warren spoke with New Zealand coastal geomorphologist Paul Kench at the University of Auckland School of the Environment. Kench worked along with colleagues in Australia and Fiji to study the reef islands and rising sea levels. They found that reef islands change shape and move around in response to shifting sediments, and that many of them are growing in size, not shrinking, as sea level inches upwards. Oh, so actually the islands get bigger as the sea level rises? That's interesting. I would have never guessed that, but I suppose, the way the oceans move sand and things, I suppose that could be. I don't know. The implication is that many islands, especially less developed ones with few permanent structures, may cope with rising sea levels well into the next century. Tragically, the more built up these islands are, the less likely they are to grow naturally. That said, it is simply not the case that rising sea levels will wash away the Maldives, and certainly not in the next 4 days. Well, that's that 30 years was up in 4 days. I get it now. So anyway, there's you could probably look up in the internet how many. Let's take, what's that movie that Al Gore did? Inconvenient Truth. If you want to have a good chuckle, go back and watch Inconvenient Truth, and then go on the internet and look up all the things that they predicted in Inconvenient Truth, which should have already happened, and compare them to what reality is right now, and you'll be in for quite the surprise. So, okay, let's move on a little bit. Good morning, RVA Dar and Irish Rose, Chadwick Dupree. Check your logic, Max. Oh, Max, you were here a long time ago, right? No, you weren't here. Good morning, Max Del Rio. Also, I'm welcome. This is my 150th show. I'm so happy. Maybe you know what? No, I don't shill enough, but I think it'd be appropriate to everyone to do a super chat for $1.50 today. I gotta pay my cable bill. Anyway, all right. Moving on. Actually, you know what? If you're enjoying what I do on the Morning Night Live, the best thing you can do for me is right down there is the share button. Share this out and hit a like, and that makes me happy. So there you go. Excuse me. Need more coffee. All right, now, so those were my big ones today. Let's see, what else did I have here? Oh, this is actually from yesterday, and this is on the Daily Wire. I don't know how this happened. This has to be a mistake. Absolutely has to be a mistake. An economist in the New York Times has good 2020 news for Trump. A recession is unlikely, and here's why. What? I thought everyone was talking recession right now. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. Acknowledging that the talk of a coming recession has mushroomed recently, one economics expert writing in the New York Times, holy shitballs, Batman, attempted to assuage those fears by noting that the American economic system is far more resilient than the fearmongers would have us believe. Neil Irwin, a senior economist correspondent for The Upshot. Okay, we need to investigate The Upshot. This made it in the New York Times. There's an investigation investigation needs to occur. Starts his explanation by noting, quote, in August, consumer sentiment suffered its biggest drop since 2012, and Google searches for the term recession surged to their highest levels in more than a decade. Can't imagine why, with every news bonehead wish casting for recession. But after pointing out that business activity has slowed and American manufacturing began shrinking in August for the first time in 3 years, Irwin turns positive, opining that outright recession seems unlikely and a period of sluggish growth looks more probable. Irwin bases his rosier outlook on various factors. One, the sectors affected by trade wars and diminution of global diminution. I don't know. That's I thought I could read everything. Of global manufacturing only represent a relatively small share of the economy. Number two, there's little sign of reduced consumer spending, and consumer spending comprises over 2/3 of the American economy. That's because people have jobs and they have more money because their wages are rising. Business investment represents 14%. The Federal Reserve, number three, the Federal Reserve has embraced easier money policies since the beginning of 2018, and that kind of shift usually evidences itself in delayed fashion. So it hasn't even been factored in yet. Number four, the unemployment rate has stayed at 4% or lower for over a year, which may well trigger employers to think more long-term and not panic and opt for actions that would inhibit longer-term growth. Why would what opt for? Okay, anyway. Number five, despite the fact that business investment seems to be slowing, there are numerous instances in which business investment slowed, but consumer spending still grew. Irwin names a few instances, including mid-2015 to mid-2016, the period after the dot-com crash in 2000, and the period after the dot-com crash in 2000 and 2001. So yeah, and it is a business cycle. If there's a recession the next 5 years, that's not unusual. And the recession just means 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. But we're not even at that point yet. Probably ain't going to happen. But man, I'll tell you what, even if it slows a little bit, there's going to be people out there pounding the table saying, we're in a recession, even when we're not. Number six, the impact of the trade war has most profoundly affected manufacturing and commodity-related industries. Irwin notes, as of August, only 8.5% of American jobs were in manufacturing. Number seven, the American economy has shifted toward a more service-based economy, leaving it less vulnerable. And number eight, a Wall Street Journal survey of economists found only roughly 1/3 think a recession is forthcoming. So, yeah, only 1/3, and I'm gonna guess that at least half of the 2/3 are just wish casting because they don't like the current president. But anyway, I wouldn't be shocked if there was a mild recession, but that'd be part of the business cycle, and we've been going on. Anyway, the Washington Post, in an article, is titled "How a Recession Could Doom Trump's 2020 Reelection." Oh man, how a recession could doom Trump's 2020 reelection, and quoting one of my favorite YouTubers, Hard Bastard. And if I shit a dog, maybe it would bark. They noted that only one president since the Civil War won re-election when a recession hit in the last 2 years of his first term. William McKinley in 1900. The Post added, only one. Okay. The Post added, well, good God. The Post added, since then, all 4 presidents running for re-election who had such a recession lost: William H. Taft, Herbert Hoover, Jimmy Carter, and George H.W. Bush. Over the same span, all 10 who have sought re-election without such a recession have won: Woodrow Wilson, Franklin D. Roosevelt 3 times, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Richard M. Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Mr. Obama, our number 44. So, if we do go into a mild recession in the next year, it's going to be because all the pundits on TV keep talking recession. I still laugh so hard. The day about roughly a month ago, when the stock market was in the 26,000s, somewhere in the mid 26,000s, lost 800 points in a day, which is roughly 2.5-3% of the market. And everybody in the media was just, I don't know if they were panicking or if they were salivating. And David Frum, on that day, had the nerve to write something to the effect that Trump inherited a booming economy from Barack Obama, and now we are in a severe recession. That's almost a quote. I know I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty close to a quote of what David Frum wrote. And I saw that and I almost fell out of my chair. But the very next day, the market recovered 600 points. And the day after that, it recovered another 200. So the entire 800 points that had lost in one day had been recovered within 2 days. And it went up. And I thought, God, I would love to I wish I was in a room with David Frum right now just to tell him, Mr. Frum. Mr. Frum. Yeah, oh, yes, sir. Hi. Hey. I'm Dawg Knight, sir, and I just wanted to tell you, sir, that you're an idiot. Because hey, just a little clue or hint out there for y'all. Yes, I know his middle name's like Hussein. A little clue for y'all: the stock market going up and down has nothing to do with how we calculate whether or not we're having a recession. And David Frum, who you'd think had a brain, because he's generally a smart guy, although I begin to wonder. David Frum, of all people, should know that one day in the stock market does not equal a recession. Okay, there's a recession actually has a definition, and there's a way to measure it. David Frum, you moron. Okay, let's see. What else do I got here? We're going to skip that one. I don't care about that. Let's see. Interesting article on the immorality of free public education, or on free education. Why the demand for free education is un-American and unethical. I'm not even going to read this article. It's an article from this, is it Spectator? No, this is Front Page Magazine. That's the one right there. The immorality of free and public education. Talking about, let's just read the lead, but then I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this whole free college nonsense that a lot of these politicians are coming up with, and the forgiving college debt, that nonsense. I'm sorry. Okay, as I travel across the United States to give talks and seminars on my books and political and moral philosophy, I am increasingly struck by the degree to which today's college students believe that they are morally entitled to a free education. Oh, this is a good start. I have not read this article yet, but this is a very, very good start. They think that this entitlement starts from the time they were born right up until the time that they graduated from college. Since I never politicized my classroom, and generally as a rule, who's this written by? Jason D. Hill. Since I never politicized my classroom and generally, as a rule, do not insert my political viewpoints into that space, which I believe is a sacred domain where rigorous exploration and examination of great canonical figures from the Western philosophical tradition should take place. These campus visits give me ample opportunities to explore the philosophical and moral assumptions behind the idea that free public education is the birthright and human right of all human beings. In a gentle but rigorous manner, I usually begin by asking students to press the issue privately with me on such visits. A few basic and fundamental questions. And they are. Here are the questions. Are the procreative choices that your parents made the moral and financial responsibility of other individuals? That's a fantastic question. Just because your parents decided to have kids, does that mean everyone else should pay for your parents' kids? Or do they belong to your parents? When you become a legal adult at the age of 18, are you not responsible for your own life and existence? That's a good question too. Do we have a constitutional right to have children we cannot afford and maintain? I don't know. Is it a form of child neglect to bring more children into the world than one can afford to support? When one has children, is it fair to expect one's neighbors or compatriots to bear the financial responsibility of raising them when they may have decided not to have any, or to just have one or two, or the exact number their budget can afford over the course of a lifetime? Several students interpret these questions as hostile ones. Well, of course they do, because they think they are the most special and most important people on the planet, and I will forego judgment for the moment. This says more about the untrained and Now, this guy used a lot of $5 words when he could have used the 30-cent words. Lugubriously. What the fuck's lugubriously? I don't even know what the hell that means. Let's look up lugubriously. We're gonna cut, or we'll copy. Well, let's go over to DuckDuckGo right here. Let's lugubriously. What the hell? Lugubriously definition. Okay, here's what lugubriously. Okay, this is a terrible definition. In a lugubrious manner. Oh, mournfully, sadly. Adverb. In a lugubrious manner. Adverb. Sorrowful, lugubrious manner. What the hell? Okay, lugubrious definition. It's mournful, especially exaggeratedly or affectedly mournful. Oh, okay, so overacting sorrow. Okay, because I had no idea what the hell that meant. Slowly and sluggish. That's another one. All right. Sentiment and other sensibilities. Then it does the probing nature of the questions themselves. Other students seem genuinely baffled that such questions could even be rationally presented to them. They are equally stunned that they are required to answer them. One student told a panel I was participating in that the right to a free publication from birth to college was an unassailable moral axiom, and that those who challenged such an axiom were heartless monsters. Remember talking about how and I'll just add students to this mix, but people of a certain political persuasion always want to paint the people that they disagree with as immoral, monsters, evil. They're almost like the Christian right from the 80s and 90s. That was their tactic. Now that's the tactic of the left. It's crazy. It's crazy. You can't have a conversation with somebody because you're canceled because you're evil. It drives me insane, and that's what the students have become too. Students who come out of college don't come out inquiring minds. They come out, they come out as scolds. It's crazy. You're not allowed to question their lived experience. So now we begin the questions by posing it to the general public, that men and women of common sense. You have sacrificed and planned your lives carefully and are already in debt and sending your own children to school. By what moral right would anyone dare tell you that you have a right to finance his or her college education? Right to finance it. By what moral standard would anyone bring a child into the world and expect total strangers to assume the financial and moral obligation of educating that child? That's a great question. And I'm going to read this later on my own because it's pretty dang long, but here's my take on this whole free college thing. Again, this is a great question. By what standard does the public have? Once my kids gets the basic education through high school, and even then, I mean, is that a public obligation? It's an opportunity. Okay, they had the opportunity, and we took full advantage of that opportunity already. But they're adults now, and so now that they're adults, is the public responsibility for my children? Does it ever end? Because my kids, worked very hard through grade school, through high school, got great grades, got into the schools they wanted to. We ended up finding ways to get them through those schools. But what about the kids? So they're going to give away free college, right? And they're going to forgive all these student loans that they spent billions of dollars, or that people have taken out billions of dollars to and usually the ones who complain the most are the ones who got useless degrees. But let me go back to this. They're proposing free college for everyone, right? And they expect the rest of the country to pay for it, okay, right? And it's not going to be just the rich. I'm sorry. They want the rich to pay for healthcare, and they want the rich to pay for college, and they want the rich to pay for the student loan debt, and I think there's enough money for just all these rich people, but that money's going to last about 3 days. Okay, so they're going to be taxing everybody. And what about the kids who never finish high school? So we're going to pay for college for all these kids that you're going to be paying for college for all the advantaged kids, right? You're going to be paying for college for all the kids who already have a silver spoon in their mouth. And then when they get done with college, okay, that you've paid for the college for all these kids who already excelled and you're paying for their college. But then there's all those kids that, well, they couldn't qualify for any college education. They're digging ditches, but their money, while they get a job at 18 and they're digging ditches, their tax money is going to go to pay for all these other kids' college, right? Oh, is that fair? Yes, Margaret Thatcher's quote, Maddie, is great. The problem with socialism is you run out of other people's money. And the other problem with socialism, you can't really start a socialist nation until the capitalist nation makes enough money so that you have other people's money to spend. Oh man. But that's, so now everybody, including the people who didn't get this college paid for, they didn't get another 4 years of free beyond this 12, 13 years of elementary school, grade school, and high school, whatever, that they got for free. Now you're gonna pay for the kids who can be a part of college from all the people who didn't make it. And then those kids who did get their college paid for and actually were able to take advantage of it and finish college are going to be making more money than those people. In theory, if they're smart. The other part too is, so you already got a huge dropout rate in high school, right? There's a huge number of kids who never even finish high school, and that's sad. And we already pay for that out of our taxpayer money, but now you want to pay for some kids. Now, some kids, they don't know what they want to do. And are you going to pay for all the kids that don't have a major in college and then maybe bumble through it for a couple years and then decide that, they're just not going to finish college. They're going to just go get a job. Or, hey, how about the guys? Are we going to have free college for people who go and get their master's degrees and PhDs and all that? Are we going to pay the room and board? What? And there you go. Now I certainly can see that if you, we already have this in our high schools. We already have the AP classes, and we have, at least in where I live, we have AP classes where you can get some college credit ahead of time. You already have we have a program in our district where you go to take some of your college. If you get far enough ahead in the high school stuff, you can start taking your college classes while you're in high school, and they don't charge you extra for that. So that's something that people take advantage of. But can everyone take advantage of that? I don't. It just makes no sense to me. I don't get it. And then also, you know what? So your families, right? You thought college was important enough that when you got your financial aid package, and it said, well, okay, we're going to guarantee, we're going to give you this grant, and then we're going to give you this much in loans, and then you took these loans. Did it ever cross your mind when you took out these loans that there's a key word in the paperwork that you signed that you probably should have looked at that said, what was that word? Anyone know the word I'm talking about? There's a key word on those student loan papers. There's a key word. That key word is, it's a loan, meaning you're going to have to pay it back. Okay, so maybe when you're, this is the part where I think the one thing I think we're missing in our public schools and our schools up until you turn age 18, I think that we need to include some sort of course in financial literacy. Okay, explaining how loans work, explaining how financing a car works. Even simple. There's just practical math maybe that everyone needs to take, or practical how to do a tax return. That you should learn that in high school, just even to be able to fill out a basic 1040 EZ form. Okay, and practical finance, practical I don't know what I would call it, but I think that should be a part of our schools, because too many kids come out of school, and I went through this with my kids. They had to file their taxes, and I had to teach them how to do that. Now, I didn't mind doing that. Of course, that's what I do. I'm a parent. I teach people that. There should be some sort of personal finance, personal, whatever. I don't know what's called. Not home ec. They used to teach home ec, at least in my day, because I took a home ec class when I was in high school, and I basically learned how to bake and cook things. But it just practical financial literacy should be a course in every high school in America now, and it should start. Maybe it should start in middle school too. It just basic practical financial. What's the word I just used? Financial literacy, a financial literacy course that you should start taking maybe like in 8th grade or 9th grade, and that you have to take, is part of your math class or part of something to graduate high school. I think it would do a lot for a lot of people. Where you learn about finance, you learn about credit and things like that. Because it's funny, when I was in the banking business and I did mostly home mortgages, I had to teach a lot of people that stuff and just explain to them, you can qualify for this size loan, but here's how it's going to be looking when you actually start making payments on your house, because you also got the insurance and taxes and things like that. And people understand. Well, hey, it says here I qualify for this much. Yeah, but look, hold up. You really don't want to max out the most. Every lender's going to tell you you can qualify for this much loan. But I strongly suggest that you figure that out. Did I forget you? What do you mean, Richo? Did I not say hello? Oh, I did skip you. I'm sorry. Good morning, Richo. How you doing? I didn't forget you, man. I just I missed you. I'm sorry there. All right. But anyway, that's my take of free college. I think free college is, you know what? There's a point where you got to take responsibility for how you're going to live your life, and I think college is the perfect time to do that. And I don't think everyone should have to pay for kids' college, because guess what? Not everyone goes to college. Okay, we give that free K through 12 thing because everybody does that. We think everybody needs to do that, and we have our public educations, which I don't think is great either. But that's something that everybody does. And so maybe there's a rationale for doing that. But people can say that about healthcare too. And I don't think we should have free government healthcare either. I think, there's no such thing as free government healthcare. It's just a matter of who pays for it and how. There's things that I think you should take responsibility for yourself, and maybe that's a heartless take. Maybe I am one of those heartless people. I don't know. It's definitely not a right, though. You don't have a right to anyone's time. A right is something that the government can't take away from you. It's not something that the government gives you. You don't have a right to be given anything. Okay, rights in our Constitution, for example, are things that people can't take away from you. They can't take away your freedom to do this. They can't restrict you from this. They can't restrict you from that. You do have a right to remain silent when you're arrested. Okay, hey, moving on. Guess it's time for Twitter Trends. And that's what we do in our 150th show. For those of you who are coming in late, we are on our 150th show. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm looking forward to getting up to on my 200th show. I may just do strictly a call-in show or something like that. That's 50 shows away. I'm guessing, how long would that take? Let's see, roughly 20 shows a month. So roughly 3 months. When we hit our 200th show, maybe we'll do a question and answer or a call-in show or something fun like that. And also, I'm looking to get back into having my Friday guest show as soon as I figure out how I'm going to do it. I might use one of those new platforms that I know Ranting Monkey and Bear and a couple people use that, so I don't know. All right, Twitter Trends. What's happening in the world? Let's find out what's happening on Twitter, what people are talking about, what people are going to be talking about for the rest of the day. Before I do that, I also want to thank Trucking Bear and Rolling Bear for retweeting the stream out this morning. I greatly appreciate that. So several of you have done that. Did I already say that this morning? I might have already said that, but I'm going to say it again because it's my Sesquicenstreamial show number 150. All right, let's get into Twitter Trends real quick here. Hit the right button. And away we go as soon as I hit that and put it on the screen. There we go. So number one in Twitter today, it's the Free Code Friday contest. Everyone, this is something new. I haven't necessarily see this trending every week, but now this is 2 weeks in a row where Free Code Friday trends number one on Twitter. Free Code Friday time, read this and you could win a code for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, on Xbox One. Good luck. Is this just an Xbox thing? It must be. But yeah, they have a Friday giveaway, Free Code Friday. Yeah, so if you're into gaming, check out what Free Code Friday is all about. All right, moving on. Number 2 is today National Read a Book Day. You know what? I used to read a lot. And I need to get back into that. There's a whole bunch of... There's just so much you gain from reading a lot. And anyway, follow and retweet and reply. Welch's UK. Oh, Welch's Grape Juice is sponsoring Read a Book Day. It's National Read a Book Day, and we're celebrating with a chance to win a 30-pound voucher so you can read a book or 2 or 3 on us. I just realized that on my phone, I have a Kindle app from Amazon, and so I downloaded a couple books on that, and that's a pretty easy way to go. Although I don't know if I like reading on my phone as much as I like having a physical book in my hand. Also, when my grandparents died, my grandmother died. She was 101 years old. She died about 7-8 years ago, and one of the things that I got from my grandmother's house was her bookshelves and all the books in them. And so I've always they're sitting over here in the corner of my dining room, and I've always thought, man, it would be cool just to go and read all those books. Some are fiction, some are nonfiction, all, for the most part, they're old books from different genres, and again, fiction and nonfiction. That might be a project that I'm going to start. But anyway, National Library of Scotland says something. National Read a Book Day. All right, so if you enjoy reading, this would be a good day to start a good book. In fact, we're going to the cabin this weekend. I might start a book at the cabin. All right, moving on. Number 3 trending is the Friday feeling. Oh, it's interesting because Friday feeling is before Friday thoughts, Friday motivation. Friday feeling. Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Trying to forget my feelings of love. Anyone remember that song? That's one of those 70s songs. I can't remember who sang that. If you know who sang that song, let me know in the chat, please. I want to say that wasn't Jose Feliciano, was it? No. Freddie. No. Who sang that song? Feelings. Anyway, translation. For the last time, I'm an inside cat. Linda, let me in. Oh, listen to that. This cat is mad. Do you hear it? The cat really wants in. Okay, that's funny. Okay. That Friday feeling. Yeah, baby! Let's go! Okay, so Friday feelings. People getting out the people all up in their feelings. Oh, hey, look at that bird pic. I have a lot of bird pics. I like to take photographs of birds. It's kind of my thing on the side. If you go through my Instagram, which is over here, Instagram is at yes that Marty. I take a lot of pictures of flowers and a lot of pictures of birds. Although I haven't been putting a lot of stuff on Instagram lately. Anyway, Friday feelings number 3. Let's go on. Friday, Post Malone is trending. Ozzy Osbourne's feature on Post Malone's album is stealing the spotlight. Interesting. Isn't Post Malone kind of a pseudo hip-hop artist or something? Post Malone, Ozzy Osbourne, and Travis Scott all in one song. Music is wild. Okay, fascinating. So, yeah, Post Malone and Travis Scott are hip-hop artists, and everyone, you know who Ozzy Osbourne is. Morris Albert sang Feelings. Is that correct? Maybe we'll look that up. But anyway, so Post Malone's trending because people think it's hot. Wait, did Post Malone just drop one of the best albums of 2019? People are excited about Post Malone. All right. I don't know. I'm not real familiar with him. Friday Thoughts, Friday Motivation are 5 and 6. Howard Schultz is trending, former Starbucks seat. Oh, no. No! Oh no! Howard Schultz is out of the presidential race. How could just allow me this moment to gather myself. Howard Schultz is out. How could you let this happen, America? How could you let this... Howard Schultz faced furious blowback from Democrats when he considered an independent run for president. Now he says he won't do it. Let's read what Howard Schultz. Statistically and anecdotally, there is an undeniable appetite for a meaningful political reform in America. I had hoped to represent this common sense view, but I've come to face a few truths about this moment in time. First, despite a variety of efforts to initiate conversations about political reform, extreme voices currently dominate the national dialogue, often with vitriol that crowds out and discourages thoughtful discussion. And despite their hunger for reform, the exhausted majority has largely tuned out of this political life online and in the news, leaving the extreme voices to define the debate. In addition, not enough people today are willing to consider backing an independent candidate because they fear doing so might lead to re-electing a uniquely dangerous incumbent president. There is considerable concern that 4 more years of a Trump administration pose a graver threat to our democracy than 4 more years of political dysfunction. I agree, but I'm also concerned that the far-left policy ideas being advanced by several Democratic candidates will further alienate voters who believe those ideas will inflict more economic harm than good. The domination of the far-left Democratic candidate could result in more votes for Trump unless a moderate independent is also on the ballot. Unfortunately, election rules in each state and the way this Democratic nomination process has unfolded pose another challenge. It has become more likely that the Democratic nominee will not be known before the deadlines to submit the required number of signatures for an independent to get on the ballot. If I went forward, there is a risk that my name would appear on ballots, even if a moderate Democrat wins the nomination. And that is a risk I am not willing to take. Finally, a back injury in April and 3 subsequent surgeries have required a level of recovery that has prevented me from continuing my travels and engaging with people to the degree that is necessary. My belief in the need to reform our two-party system has not wavered, but I have concluded that an independent campaign for the White House is not how I can best serve our country at this time. So, I will continue to serve coffee. Howard Schultz. Oh my God. Oh, David Axelrod thinks this is a blow to real Donald Trump. Having hovered in the low 40s throughout his presidency, he needed a credible third party or independent candidate to siphon off anti-Trump votes. Well, we shall see, won't we, David? I guess we'll find out. We still don't know who the Democratic nominee is, though. So I don't, just whatever. I don't give a shit. Bye, Howard Schultz. I didn't even know you were running, sir. Goodbye. Chili is trending number 8. Why is Chili? Is this like Chili from TLC, or why is Chili trending? No one. Chili, when anyone says they look like her. Okay, now why is she trending, though? Probably because people will call any brown girl with baby hair and waves a Chili lookalike. So wait a minute, what is this now? Oh, this is the official Chili. Okay. Long, straight, with wavy hair and similar skin tone doesn't mean you look like someone. You're a doll, but we don't look alike. Okay, so this girl says I see. Chili, oh no, Chili just dissed a fan. That's what happened. So this girl, who has similar features to Chili, I guess, Wisconsin, she kind of does look. How does she? Okay, hold up. So this Hoopers 3 girl says, I look like Chili a lot. What do y'all think? And she tapped in actual Chili. All right. So this is her right here, and this is Chili from TLC, the band, the group, the most successful girl group of all time. TLC. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Keep with the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Okay, so she looks vaguely like Chili. I'm sure that someone's going to say that. Now, then Chili has to up and diss the girl. Even Chili told her no. Oh my God, they're tearing this girl apart. Oh my gosh, I no slander toward Chili at all, but you look better. Oh hey, so there's some people here like, okay, you look good, girl. Yeah, Chili's from Applebee's. Oh my God, these people are just ripping at her, doing a little Danny DeVito. No. And Chili told me to tell you, what is just. Don't compare yourself. Oh my God, people! Why people gotta be so mean? Especially Chili herself. Chili up here just dissing this girl. Long, straight, wavy hair and similar skin tone doesn't mean you look like someone. You're a doll, but we don't look alike. Okay, at least she said she's a doll. I just feel like people are, y'all mad. Y'all mad at Chili for saying what needed to be said. There's always a girl with wavy hair and some brown skin and maybe a pointed kind of nose trying to say they look like Chili. Everybody can't be Chili. And she was just saying, these are the facts. Wow. Okay, some people telling Chili this was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. This is a fan. I'm sure this is a fan. And in these pictures, the girl do look a little bit like, whatnot. All right, so maybe white people think she looks like Chili. I don't know. Am I just rambling here? Back into Twitter trends. That's Cape Hatteras. That's because the storm is making landfall in North Carolina. Again, if you're anywhere in the East Coast, especially the Carolinas, please take care of yourself. David Brooks is trending. Why is David Brooks trending? Because he's oh wow, the new David Brooks column is really out there. So David Brooks, I hate the world today. You're so good to me. I know, but I can't change. I try to tell you, but you look like maybe I'm an angel underneath. Is this really part of a David Brooks column? Wait a minute, hold up. What the hell? David Brooks is so mad at that people besides him and other people like him get to have public opinions now. He's like fanatically mad about it. Oh, okay. And now, a word from a fanatic inside the mind industry. So maybe he wrote something about, let's see, David Brooks gets completely wrong about these fanatics and killers aren't coddled. What? They're afloat in abusive, fragile, fictional, toxic masculinity. Oh, they got to throw in some toxic masculinity. And when they don't measure up, they snap. He's trying too hard to tie the current crisis to progress and not regression. Okay, I haven't read the... Oh, and here's something too. So this was unexpectedly, the U.S. economy added 130,000 jobs in August, a sign that the labor market is holding up despite the continuing trade war with China. Okay, that's the New York Times. And then the Washington Post says, the U.S. economy added 30,000 jobs in August as hiring slowed sharply amid concerns that the economy is deteriorating. I'm telling you, it's all about narrative. It is all about narrative. And the predictions that it wouldn't be this high, adding 130,000 jobs when we're almost at full employment, is just amazing. I'm sorry, I've followed the economy for 30 years and it was part of my job. And when you start the job hiring starts to slow once you get towards a certain percentage of unemployment rate or employment rate. And that should be now because it's harder to get people to work. That's why there's we're hiring signs in every window of every business in America right now. But that's funny. So the New York Times take a sign that the labor market is holding up despite continuing trade war with China. Washington Post. Washington Post is actively anti-Trump. New York Times is trying to keep their neutral bona fides, even though they've never been neutral. But the Washington Post, as hiring slowed sharply amid concerns that the economy is deteriorating. Now, what would that make you think? If you only got your news from the Washington Post, you think the country is going straight to hell by tomorrow. It's just funny how they do this. And Parker Malloy is no friend to conservatives. I'm just telling you. He's a Media Matters for America editor of all places. So, but yeah, that's hilarious. And then, so his issue, or her issue, I don't know if Parker Malloy is a male or female, I don't even care. What the F is going on at the New York Times? Well, you know what? That's probably way more accurate than what the Washington Post puts out there. But he's mad because, just there. Anyway, this still doesn't tell me why David Brooks is trending, and now I don't care. Because I'm running out of time here. Okay, Posty, that's probably something to do with Post Mode. Robert Mugabe. Oh, now this is all changed. Robert Mugabe is trending. Oh, he died. Okay, this is one of those rare times where I don't. Usually when you don't have anything good to say about something, you just don't say anything at all. Robert Mugabe was a bad human being. Not to disparage him in his death. Like all those people who were just celebrating when David Koch died. I think that's terrible, and I'm not going to celebrate the death of Robert Mugabe. But I'm not going to lose any sleep. He was a bad human being. So Robert Mugabe has died absolutely dripping in money at the age of 95, whilst everyone else in Zimbabwe is skint. You can see why Jeremy Corbyn and his pals love socialism so much. Ka-ching. He turned Zimbabwe from a breadbasket of Africa into a basket case. Yeah, Zimbabwe was a thriving place, and then and then Mugabe came in, and I don't even know what to call him as far as political. Can't call him a socialist or whatever. He was just a bad tyrant who just was. He just destroyed that country. Titania McGrath. I've got to get her name right. The fictitious character of a fake woke person, but funny as hell. I can't help but think that all this criticism of Robert Mugabe is just another attempt to demonize people of color. Oh, that dude that writes Titania McGrath is just hilarious. It's Piers Morgan being a little facetious. I'm struggling to start my grief at Robert Mugabe. I'm struggling to start my grief at Robert Mugabe's death. I'm gonna guess that there ain't gonna be a single person on the on the internet that's gonna say something nice about Robert Mugabe. Except for this dude. Who's Raila Odinga? He's Prime Minister, African Union, High Representative, Infrastructure and Development. I'm sorry. It's funny. When I go to Nigeria, or when I went to Nigeria, everyone had a title that sounded super lofty. I always thought that was funny. This guy, African Union High Representative for Infrastructure Development, wishing to pass his condolences to the people of Zimbabwe following the death of their founding father, Honorable something Robert Mugabe. Okay. Former Zimbabwean strongman Robert Mugabe has died while he helped topple white colonial rule. He also led his country to the brink of economic ruin. Yeah, look at that. These are $10 million notes, and they're worthless. I mean, or 10 million, whatever their currency is. 10 million. The inflation, and because he just kept printing money, and he destroyed a country. It's the only country in South Africa that is illiterate. An illiterate villager thinks a qualified medical doctor from another African country is the reason for his unemployment. Even Alexander Pleiss, who's usually reliably liberal, Robert Mugabe, who led Zimbabwe to independence and ruled the country for 37 years, marked with repression and violence, has died at age 95. So no one's gonna, no one's. I think the one dude was just being, what's the word? He was just being polite. I can't imagine the people of Zimbabwe are going to miss Robert Mugabe. I'm sorry. Posty, that's probably something supposed to be Friday motivation. Red Friday, something having to do with the Kansas City Chiefs, I bet. Yep, something with the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll skip that. Because I think the Chiefs played? Oh, they play this weekend. Anyway, the music video, I don't care. 2K Day. Oh, is the new 2K coming out? Yes, the new, everyone loves NBA 2K, whatever. So 2K20 is being released today. That is one of the games I used to play a lot with my son. I do kind of enjoy the basketball games, kind of because I'm a basketball dude. So anyway, so go get your NBA 2K. And the last one is Flashback Friday. We'll just check out one or two Flashback Friday posts. Hopefully, anything good? Dak's game-winning touchdown pass to what's-his-face? Okay. Ooh. Did he get in? Wait a minute. Hold up. hold up. Let's. Oh, no, yeah, he caught it, but knee. Oh, yep, he's out of bounds.
In the end zone, and the upper part of him goes down. Is that knee going? Look at that right there.
Oh, knee. Knee.
That should be a touchdown, folks.
Oh, no, no. Oh, yes, you do, because it's both feet are a part of your body. So that is actually a touchdown. I bet they overturned this. Let's see here. Let's see what they did.
Is that right there? He's down.
That's a catch.
That should be a touchdown, folks. We're gonna take a.
Okay, so anyway, that's pretty amazing. That's a flat. Okay, that's it. I gotta go. I can't do any more of this. Here. All right, let's turn that off. All right, hey, it's been fun, people, but I actually got to get the heck out of here. It is Happy Friday. I hope you all have a great weekend. I'm gonna be. We're going actually to Grandma's cabin this weekend, up in the undisclosed location in northern Wisconsin. So that's what our weekend's going to be like. And it's one of those rare times where me and my wife and my two kids, and we go visit our friend Grandma Kay, who's not officially their grandma, but she's their grandma in all practical purposes. It's been a nice weekend. We usually play around the golf and just chill, maybe go out on the pontoon boat. So that's what my week's going to be like. I hope you guys have a great weekend planned. And that's it for today. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, for those people in other parts of the world who know how to use that. And if you haven't already done so, on your way out, share, like, subscribe. I think it's over there. And in future shows, we will, again, Streamlabs for super chats and donations. So thank you so much for being here. I actually got to get to where I got to get to. So, hey, my name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Have a great weekend. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.